What's up guys, it's Lord Both here for another video, and Borderlands. Y'all remember the Borderlands series of video games? They used to be fairly popular series of video games. I think the first one came out in 2009. It's technically considered a looter shooter, and even though every installment kind of had less anticipation and less anticipation, as people generally thought they got worse as they went along instead of better, they're still looked back on as a fairly successful franchise in gaming. Even though Borderlands 3 was universally kind of disliked, and nobody really expected to get a Borderlands 4 until it was announced that we were getting a Borderlands 4, which came after the release of that terrible, god-awful Borderlands movie. I mean, truly, it's considered one of the worst movies of all time, maybe, as a major Hollywood production. The casting was all wrong, the effects looked weird, the comedy was just completely off. It was a completely terrible movie. Like, aside from video game adaptations, it was bad. Well, after that, gigantic hype train that the movie, that was delayed for a very long time, by the way, laid out for it, now Borderlands 4 is upon us. And in fact, the dev team just put out an update about its release, which had some eyebrows raising. This comes to us from PC Gamer, entitled Borderlands 4 is bringing its release date forward a week, and I'm already breaking out my GTA6 conspiracy board. While we've become too accustomed to a classic game delay, it's rare that we see a game yailed. Yailed? Undelayed, hastened, advanced. Oh, it's delayed, spelled backwards.
Okay.
Shut up, silly woman.
By the way, if you can't tell from that terrible joke, this article was written by a woman. Yes, very funny, Molly. You're very funny. You're a very, very funny woman. Okay, I'm putting my thesaurus away to tell you that Gearbox just revealed that it will be bringing Borderlands 4's release date forward by an entire week and a half. That's taken the release date from September 23 to September 12th, which is a pretty big leap forward in the video game release world. I guess, but when you consider how long some delays are, it's kind of all relative. She goes on to state that the most likely scenario here seems to be that Bungie recently announced it will be releasing Marathon on, as luck would have it, September 23. While I'm not sure the Venn diagram of looter shooters and extraction shooter enjoyers looks like, it's understandable that Gearbox would want to try to get out of its way, even if it was technically their first. Maybe it's scared of another Battleborn versus Overwatch situation. Yeah, interestingly enough, I don't think you're going to get that from a series that's as down bad as something like Borderlands, and a game that looks like it's not going to leave the launch pad in terms of sales in something like Marathon. But her real theory actually comes here, where she states the little gremlin in my brain, which is another key phrase to tell you that this was written by a woman, because for whatever reason, women love to talk about gremlins and make references to gremlins all the time. I don't get the whole obsession with the gremlin thing.
Weird.
Anyway, she states that she wants to theorize that a Grand Theft Auto 6 release is on the horizon, and parent company Take-Two wants to give Borderlands 4 as much clearance as possible. She doesn't really do a good job of explaining things there in general, but luckily, other people have definitely picked up this story and ran with it, such as IGN, who wrote this article entitled Borderlands 4 launch brought forward by 11 days. What could it mean for the GTA 6 release date? In this article, they state it's worth noting that Borderlands 4 is published by 2K Games, which is owned by Take-Two. Take-Two is also the parent company of GTA developer Rockstar. At a high enough level, right up to CEO Strauss Zelnick, there will be a knowledge of the company's games, where they're at in development, and a desire to give them all the best chance of success. Perhaps GTA 6 release date recently came into focus, and it was felt that for the good of Borderlands 4, it should come out nearly 2 weeks earlier than planned. You also have Eurogamer with this article saying Borderlands 4 release date moves forward, perhaps because 2K knows exactly when GTA 6 is coming out. And their article states, GTA 6 still lacks a release date, of course, but since Borderlands is published by 2K, the company likely has a better idea of when GTA 6 will arrive than the rest of us, thanks to 2K also being part of Take-Two, the shared parent company of Rockstar. So basically, everybody thinks that Borderlands 4 moved their release date, not because Marathon is releasing on the same day as them. I don't think either game is going to perform well in terms of sales. They could release on the same minute of the same hour on the same day, and it would not affect their sales at all. They both would still do terribly. And in fact, moving the date forward for Borderlands, it's still going to do bad. I wouldn't even say it would do marginally better than if it released after GTA 6 came out. Mostly because there is a plethora of games that have come out between February and April of 2025, as well as Dune that's slated to come out in June. And to be quite honest, there's such a backlog of games. I think people are going to be fine until GTA releases in the fall, which is when it's expected to release, even though, again, like they said in the articles, it doesn't actually have a release date. But people are speculating because GTA 6 and Borderlands are owned by two different companies that are part of the same parent company. They know when each other are going to release, and Borderlands is trying to get out of the way of GTA 6 so they don't get gobbled up by them, which again, wouldn't matter because Borderlands is going to do terrible anyways. But it gives us some insight into when GTA 6 might release, which is late in September of this year. Although I would not be surprised for them to trick everybody and actually release in like spring of next year. And then all those games that delayed themselves until spring of next year will end up just putting one over on themselves because now they tried to escape GTA 6 only to end up in the lap of the monster that is GTA 6. One thing I will say, if it does get delayed for award season, that would mean good things for a lot of the really good games that have come out this year. Monster Hunter Wilds, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. All of these games, I think, in other years, have really good shots to be Game of the Year. And it would be a tight competition between all of them and more if it was just those games in this year. But if GTA 6 releases this year in that window, well then it's good night for everybody. Because there's no way that GTA 6, such a behemoth, such a culturally impacting game, because it is going to impact culture, for sure. There will be a lot of things that will stop specifically so people can play this game. There's no way that that game is not going to win Game of the Year. And even if it doesn't win Game of the Year, it's probably going to win every other award, or at least a lot of them. And that's unfortunate, again, because there's so many great games coming out this year that I wouldn't actually mind GTA 6 being delayed a little bit. But if these rumors and theories are correct, GTA 6 does look like it's going to meet that fall period release. And when it does, it's going to take over everything. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.